finishing this off now, basically let's just kind of make this a little bit more solid. We don't want to go too dark with our shadow, our value ratio shadow in the light. And let's get rid of the white in the underplanes over. I see that light, but I'm going to just ignore it. Again, I'm taking the average of the values. Let's go a little bit darker with this. This is my blackest black because this is all cast shadow. This would be cast shadow too. Perspective is a little off, but that's okay. And so I'm going to go a little bit darker with my blue fabric in the light. This is the light side of my platform. My platform is nothing more than a rectangular box shape. And then even though that's translucent, light's coming right through it, I'm going to just tone it down. Make this a little bit more solid. Okay, so that is pretty much my all-value study with the value ratios, kind of. It's not perfect because I'm really trying to go as fast as I possibly can, but for all of the illustration jobs that I've done in the past where I've actually done this exercise, I have so much more fun with the paint-in. The paint-in always comes out, to my liking. It's not a stressful process. Now, this, I understand, this may not be for a lot of people. This may be too predictable. But for me, being a commercial artist, I would want predictability for the client because I think the worst possible thing that commercial artists have to go through is changes. And when you hand the job in, you want to do everything to prevent from having to do changes, because changes are the worst thing in the world. They're so frustrating. If you're a fine artist, you don't do changes. The buyer is just going to buy your artwork or they're not going to buy your artwork. Take it or leave it. But if you're a commercial artist, you are working for an art director, and that person is probably going to tell you to change one or two things. So this could also be used to show the art director before you spend a week on the final, or 2 days on a digital painting that you spent 10 hours each day on that digital painting. You can send them a quick digital all value study like this, and you would work out all your problems, and then the art director would say, okay, good. They'd sign off on it, you'd make them initial it, and your life is just a whole lot easier. So that's my all value study, and that's my 3 value study. Now, when I say all value study, I mean that this has light and shadow, that's light, that's shadow, that's light, and that's shadow. Okay? There's going to be a gazillion shades of gray. Now, I'm not sure if I want to introduce gradations in this chapter, but if you'd like, you can also do this, because there's always going to be gradations in the light. And we've got a couple minutes, and I can talk about this. So pretty much, if we look at this statue over here, the lightest light is, it appears maybe it's over here, but I don't think it is. I think the lightest light is right there, because that's closest to the light. That's pretty light too. Now if we compare that pure white, this part is not as white as that, because this is a little bit further away from the white. From the light, I meant to say. So you have a gradation. Now it's a subtle gradation, and we've got to stay within the parameters of our value ratios. And this just adds a whole nother dimension to your artwork. There's a gradation in the light. I hope you're enjoying that pencil noise. It really sounds like an art studio now. I don't want to go too dark with this. I'm going to go on a diagonal. Okay, I'm going to keep my shadow consistent, 5th value, maybe 6th value, it depends. So my shadow stays consistent. Again, this is a real old school traditional formula. Of course, there's all light bouncing all over the place in a real life situation. I'm working in a controlled light situation where I have one light source. I'm not bouncing any light. Now, if there's another cast right here next to this one, you might see reflected light over here, and then, that's modeling factors. That's a whole different thing. But, this is a controlled light, gradation in the light. Shadow's going to be consistent. Again, more control, just another tool for you to use. All right, let's move on to the next chapter.